The Golden Ass, 2nd century, by Apuleius. I was now in the heart of Thessaly, renowned the whole world over as the cradle of magic arts and spells. Watch out for the wicked wiles and criminal enticements of that woman Pamphile, the one that's married to Milo, him you call your host. Never lower your guard. They say she's a top-class witch, mistress of every kind of graveyard spell. Verina's words showed how worried she was for me. However, with my usual curiosity, directly I heard the magic word magic, so far from resolving to steer clear of Pamphile, I itched to enroll myself as her pupil and to pay handsomely for the privilege, in a word to take a running leap right into the abyss. So in a delirium of impatience I extracted myself from Verina's embrace as if her hands had been manacles, and bidding her a hasty goodbye I hurried off at speed back to Milo's. Now, Lucius, I said to myself, watch your step and keep a cool head. Here's the chance you've dreamed of, what you've always wanted. You'll be able to enjoy wonderful stories to your heart's content. Granted, you'd better keep clear of any amorous involvement with your hostess and religiously respect the virtuous Milo's marital couch, but Fotis the maid, you can go all out to make a conquest of her. At last Fotis appeared, having seen her mistress settled for the night. When she had shot the bolts and firmly secured the latch, she came back to me and putting both arms round my neck she began in a low and almost inaudible voice. I'm scared, she said, and frankly terrified to disclose what this house conceals and to lay bare my mistress's secrets. Now you shall learn what this house really is, now you shall learn my mistress's wonderful secret powers, through them the dead obey her, the stars change course, the gods do her bidding, the elements are her slaves. But she never resorts more eagerly to her art than when some handsome young man has caught her eye, something that often happens to her. I asked her, will you do as I earnestly ask you, and show me your mistress when she is actually practicing her supernatural arts? I want to see her when she invokes the gods, particularly when she changes shape, for I have a passionate longing to see magic done with my own eyes. I'd love to do as you ask, Lucius, Fotis answered, but she's suspicious by nature and she always shuts herself up in absolute solitude when she performs these secret rituals. But to meet your wishes I'll disregard my own safety, and I'll be on the lookout for a suitable opportunity to do just what you want. She came to me one day in a great state of excitement to tell me that her mistress, having got nowhere in her love affair by other means, was going that night to feather herself as a bird and fly off to her beloved in that shape. And to warn me to prepare myself, taking due precautions, to watch this great event. Pamphile removed the lid and scooped out some ointment, which she rubbed between her hands for a long time before smearing herself with it all over from head to foot. Pamphile was an owl. Hooting mournfully she took off and landed once or twice to try her wings, then she launched herself in full flight out of the house and away high into the sky. I was completely out of my mind, unhinged with astonishment, not knowing if I was awake or dreaming. For ages I kept rubbing my eyes to see if I was really awake. Finally I came to my senses and took Fotis by the hand. Please, I said, while we have the opportunity, I implore you, my darling, by those breasts of yours, allow me to enjoy this great and unique proof of your love, give me a little of that ointment. I tore off my clothes, and plunging my hands into it scooped out a generous portion of the ointment and rubbed it all over myself, then I flapped my arms up and down in imitation of a bird. But no down or feathers appeared. Instead my hair became coarse and shaggy, my soft skin hardened into hide, my fingers and toes lost their separate identity and coalesced into hooves, and from the end of my spine there protruded a long tail. My face became enormous and my mouth widened, my nostrils dilated and my lips hung down, and my ears became monstrously long and hairy. In this hapless state I looked myself over and saw that I was now no bird, but an ass, and when I wanted to complain about what Fotis had done, I couldn't speak or point like a human being. Fotis hit herself frantically in the face, exclaiming, "Oh God, that's torn it." I was in such a hurry and so confused that I mistook the box. Never mind, there's an easy way to put things right and change you back. All you need to do is to eat some roses and in a moment the ass will vanish and you'll be back as you were, my Lucius. If only I'd made us some garlands last night as usual, then you needn't have had to put up with this even for as long as one night. But directly it's light I'll rush the remedy to you. I meanwhile, though I was now the complete ass and what had been Lucius was a beast of burden, still felt and thought like a man. I bowed to my harsh fate and took my place by the side of my own horse, who had carried me so well, and there in the stable I also found another ass belonging to my former host Milo. I imagine that if there were some sort of unspoken natural bond among brute beasts, that horse of mine would have recognized and pitied me and given me the red carpet treatment as his guest. So much, however, for the gods of hospitality and good faith. I suppose they were afraid for their own rations, for hardly had they seen me coming towards their manger when down went their ears and they set on me furiously with violent kicks, driving me away from the barley which only last night I had served out with my own hands to this ungrateful servant of mine. Suddenly the doors burst open and there rushed in a gang of robbers, filling the house and surrounding every part of it with cordons of armed men, while others deployed themselves to resist the rescuers who came running from all sides. There was more there than they could carry, but they were not checkmated by this superfluity of riches. They hauled us 2 asses and my horse out of the stable, loaded us to the limit with the heavier bundles, and drove us from the ransacked house with threats and blows. Leaving one of their number behind to report on any investigation of the crime, they beat us on over untrodden mountain passes at a steady trot.